America is not a perfect nation. Lord knows we have our issues. Between our broken political system, medical industry, the state of our social service programs, our climbing debt, and the ever-escalating culture wars, it's clear we are in need of one or two self-help programs. And yet, as imperfect and as flawed as we may be, it's undeniable that in America, we are also blessed with so much that many take for granted on a daily basis. Things that often go unnoticed because of how common they are. In most cases, we don't hesitate to drink water from our faucets or to go and see a doctor. We know our children will receive a basic education, including high school. Most people here in America approach life with the mindset of, what can I make of myself? Or what can I make of my life? The hard truth is that in other places of the world, people approach life with a subtle but wildly different mindset. Their mindset sounds more like, how will I survive today? Or, how can I help the rest of my family survive tomorrow? We focus on social programs and getting ahead and fixing the issues with our nation, both past and present, while many other people across the world focus on how to make enough money today to feed their family tomorrow. Is this water safe to drink, and do I have a choice to even worry about it? If I get sick, will I have enough money to pay the medical bill? A bill that's always presented before care is provided, mind you, and if you can't pay, no service. Because most people here go to and graduate high school, and then many of them even go on to college, we think that this is a basic opportunity that most people are afforded, and it's not. Because we worry about how many visits we make to Starbucks in a week, whether we should buy that new car we've been considering, or how much we'll be able to put in our 401k, we think that most people in the world live the same way. They don't. In America, we are often very isolated to the cold, hard truth of the outside world. In Cambodia and many other places around the world, life is very, very different from the way that we live here. And especially so with life in the rural areas of the nation. In rural Cambodia, life is tough. The living conditions for many of these people are abysmal, living in huts and shacks that would largely be considered as uninhabitable. These structures barely provide any protection from the outside elements in many cases, not to mention against parasites, vermin, or thieves. People often grow up hoping to make the average salary of $130 per month, and sometimes less. A salary that requires hard manual labor 6 days a week for about $5 a day. They grow up perpetually malnourished, eating 1 to 2 meals per day as a child, and sometimes less as adults, so they can give those 1 to 2 meals per day to their children. They often leave school between 4th and 6th grade for 2 reasons. First, being that as soon as they are old enough to do the work of an adult, the extra income in the home can bring significant financial relief. And second, because they just can't afford to continue to pay for the costs of educating their children in a country with no free public education. And while Cambodia is a developing nation receiving much in the way of outside investment, that is yet to reach the rural areas of the nation, and it's doubtful it ever will. Due to this, many of the basic elements of life are difficult to come by. Things like medical care, grocery stores, or other basic supplies by the various stores and shops we enjoy here. And while you may be hearing this and thinking that this is bad enough, possibly the most acute danger to those living in rural Cambodia is their drinking water. Locals are frequently forced to gather drinking, cooking, and bathing water from troughs and puddles and small ponds that are created by heavy rainstorms, and often following local livestock who just drank and defecated in that same source of water. This frequently leads to many contracting severe and at times deadly diseases due to waterborne contaminants. And especially in the US, it's hard to imagine someone dying because they took just a simple drink of water. All of these factors come together and create something of a living nightmare for many living in the rural parts of Cambodia. Children have little chance to actually be children. Young people have often no chance of pursuing any dreams that they may have. And parents are frequently chased by fear and depression and worry as they try to do something to improve the lives of their family. But there is hope. Amidst all these dire circumstances, there are glimmers of hope and signs of progress. Our partner, Life Giving Word Church, and some others are working to improve the lives of those living in these circumstances. Life Giving Word Church launched at the beginning of 2020 at the height of our uncertainty about the pandemic, when everyone was unsure about what this meant, how deadly this disease was, and how our lives would need to be bent around this infection. Pastor John said, "Now, more than ever, people need to hear about the hope that Jesus brings." And then he boldly launched his church in faith, turning down a secular position paying him well above the nation's average. After doing house church for about a year, a friend and property owner offered his facility to be used for the church. Another year or so would go by until his friend decided it was time to sell that property, and then finally the Lord gave a beautiful building into their hands, which they are currently operating out of. This new facility has been the home base for this local church body to reach both people in the city that need to hear the good news of Jesus Christ, but it also operates as a central location for them to reach out into the rural areas and connect with those who are in the greatest need. We and our partners in Cambodia feel compelled to find and establish relationships with people living in the circumstances I previously mentioned. Sometimes that means coordinating medical outreaches, giving shoes away, providing food, toiletries, and other basic necessities of life, or sponsoring young people to stay in school, and at times providing access to clean water. We work together as often as we can with outreaches like the ones shown, and occasionally in person when we are able to go. Each time growing closer together in heart and deepening our bond and desire we share to help improve the lives of those who need it while sharing the hope of the gospel. All of us share a desire to see people's lives improve spiritually as well as in terms of humanitarian aid. An unexpected early focus of the church, as they have been reaching into their community, has been the sheer number of children arriving at their doorstep. We and Pastor John quickly recognized this and knew where his focus should be. The scriptures even say in Luke chapter 9, verse 48, "And Jesus said to them, 'Whoever receives this child in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives him who sent me. For the one who is least among all of you, this is the one who is great.'" The church continues to receive children asking for food, music lessons, and in not so many words, love. One such boy stumbled upon the church one day while his parents sent him out searching for garbage that could be either eaten or resold. Pastor John stopped to greet him and welcomed him, and now he is coming to the church on purpose and consistently because of the love and care he received that one day. Another day, while we were inaugurating a well that some very generous donors sponsored, a young girl walked up to the well, and joy poured out of her face as the water poured into her hands. A year later, we got to catch up with her as she celebrated with another community nearby her when we were fortunate enough to be inaugurating another well. It is children like these and others that put faces to the great needs of the people both in the city and in the rural areas. Many of them on similar missions as that young boy. Many of them with similar destinies as that young girl from the province. Many of them looking for someone to show them care, tenderness, and love. And while Cambodia is a very poor nation today with a troubled recent past, the Khmer people have a long and deep cultural history. They have amazing achievements and a world wonder among those accomplishments. Today, Cambodia is about 90% Buddhist, and conflicting reports place Islam and Christianity as the second and third religion of the nation at roughly 2 or 3% each. Some believe that the true percentage of Christians in the nation are greater due to poor reporting. In any event, Cambodia is a wide open mission field for followers of the Christian faith to share the love and hope of Jesus while preaching the gospel. As you're watching this video, you may have a burden to see people come to faith in Jesus. You may have a desire to aid those living in desperate circumstances by providing humanitarian aid. Or maybe as you're listening to this, you're feeling a desire to help with both. No matter where we connect on the subject, we can use your help. While our partner church is healthy and growing, they are in need of funds to keep the doors open. The church is operated by a staff of volunteers. The rent and bills associated with this building are significant, but it's where they feel God has them in this season. To be able to sustain the outreaches both in the city and in their local community, and in the rural provinces, they need help to reach those in need. A single meal for a family can vary from $5 to $15 depending on the size of the family and quality of food. For those who currently go around barefoot, it only costs about $1 for a pair of flip-flops. A medical checkup for a family can cost about $50. Sponsoring a child to continue school can range from about $150 to $250 per year. And to put a well in the ground and provide safe, clean water indefinitely for an entire community can range from as little as $500 to $1,500, depending on the type of well that is needed. Whether your burden is for the church, for the people, or for both, there are many needs that can be filled and a variety of levels of giving that can meet those needs. Would you take a moment to consider what your conscience or what God may be prompting you to do? No one's life is easy. We all have struggles, no matter what country we live in. But I would ask you to consider how you might be able to either give of your excess or potentially make a sacrifice to be able to give to this cause. Consider making either a one-time donation or giving a recurring gift towards our efforts as we share the gospel to people who have often never heard the name of Jesus before and work to transform the lives of the many people in need. God bless.